Hey, g'day guys, it's Adam from VideoShowMeHow, and in this video, we're going to be installing some TJM side steps, some sliders for the DMAX. Let's get started. Now the factory steps that come with the DMAX are exactly that. They are a factory type step, so they're a hollow plastic kind of deal. They're pretty sturdy, but any sort of rock or sort of serious off-roading, you're going to bang and bend these up pretty quickly. And I'm kind of keen to keep the sills in pretty well straight and perfect order. So I was keen to go to something that would still be a step, want to retain the step, but obviously upgrade to some steel slider type deals so that we can keep this guy looking good. But let's get this lot unboxed and see what we need to unbolt to get this guy off and that guy on. And of course we have everything here from TJM. They include everything we need to get this bolted up, from our brackets there, from our gnarly big washers to our full bolt hardware kit. And here we are. This is a bit of a view of what they are like. They are not a full slider. While they are full steel, and you can see that, you know, everything is great quality. You have a nice black alloy step plate here, so it's going to give you similar to what the factory already gives you, but in some alloy, so great for not rusting and what have you. You do have a full bar that runs the full length of the step, 3 mounting posts here. However, not a full rock slider, I would say, probably more of a medium duty step. So step 1 is working out which side is which. Easiest way to do that is to check out the ends here, because this is an end cap that, as you can see, is all bolted up thanks to TJM, but you can remove this, because if you decide that you want the steps and the scrub rails to go ahead and join to a bull bar or what have you, this is where these steps will work as well. In my case, I'm just using these as steps, so they have these cool little end pieces that just have it swoop in on the inside to make it all look sweet. From there, we need to remove our factory steps. And there's one there, one there. We've got another set down the end there, and then another set up here. So there's about 6 in total. So we just got to buzz those off. And there we go, side step is off. Next step is to get the right side. This guy, we need to spin him around and line him up. Right, so once you're ready to go and you've got the right side on the right side, come over to your fasteners, and this is pretty straightforward. This is a pretty easy job. And the crux of how these go together is we're basically forming a U-bolt around the chassis rail itself. So where we've got one plate here, you can see how these 3 are going to line up against the chassis rail on that side. Then on the other side of the chassis rail, this is where we're going to have these. And these line up together just like that, so you're forming a bit of a C for extra strength. Then once our channel, our bracket is ready to go like that, we grab one of our bolts. We grab a washer from the leading tower of washers. That goes on our bolt head for that to then go through one side. That then goes through over the top of our chassis rail, through to our other side of our slider. It'll look something like this. Chassis rail here in the middle. This is on the inside of the car. Our steps on the outside. And then basically we just grab another couple of washers there and there, bolt and bolt. So that's our next step. We can prepare our little brackets here. Then we want to come up underneath the car here and start lifting it and slotting it into position. Now I recommend starting with the center one. It is a bit of a muck around, I must admit. You're kind of going to be lying here, holding it up, getting these bolts in. Once you've got them in, much easier. This is sitting here just with these 2 loosely on. So definitely recommend starting on the center piece. And then on the inside, it looks a little bit, or a lot, like this. These are the factory little clips that hold our fuel lines and what have you all in place. So you just need to pop those out, and then the little slots that are in these brackets, they slot straight back into. Once we tighten this all up and torque these bolts down, this bracket here behind the chassis will bolt down straight flush to the chassis rail and grip on there. And these parts here will still be in their factory position. So once we've got the middle piece on, much easier now. We just need to slot on our bracket to the front section and then tackle the third one at the rear. Now I did find for the front section easiest if you just remove the big bash plate that sort of normally lives across the front there. There's only sort of half a dozen screws. You can just easily buzz off, because it gives you nice and easy access to where we want to mount this guy. You want to look out for the white clip. That's where the fuel rail runs all the way up into our 4JJ3 powerhouse up there. If you just pry this away, similar to the middle, there's a little T-bar there that slots into the hole. Grab your bracket and you can see our little slot that's on our bracket is where the little slot for the white will sit. And there we go, that's what that one should look like. For the moment, don't tighten anything, just leave it loose. Now we can get stuck into the one at the rear. All right, so front two done. A little bit different in the rear though. That's where we need to be using our little spacers here because, so we have one 10mm there, we have another 10mm up the top there that secures our handbrake cable. There isn't a whole lot of room here with our fuel tank here and our chassis rail right next to it, so get your spanner in there, put on your best skinny hands and remove both of those. Okay, great, and once these guys are off, we can grab our long skinny bracket. That can get slot straight up there and we can bolt in our bracket just like the other two. And this is what it looks like on this side. Here is our brake cable here with the couple of spacers. Hopefully you can see that in there. There's one spacer on the back one, and then on this side there are 2 spacers on this one. So tighten them up, take your time. Don't forget the spring washer. Trust me, if you get that in there and forget that guy taking it out is gonna be a pain. So take your time, install those, tighten them down, and you're good to go. And now that we have all 3 of our mounting points attached to the chassis rail, the next step is to tighten these down. But before you get too carried away, just eyeball the outside where you've got everything sitting hand tight, because you want to make sure, you can see here we're a little bit further down that side than we are down that side. So we need to give this a bit of a tilt up at the front, because you want to make sure that that is nice and even. Once you've got it in the position you want, tighten the center to start with, check it again. Once you're happy with that, you can tighten the front and the back. When you are doing these up, just make sure you're sort of doing it even Steven. So don't go crazy just talking one down, because the other one's going to be skewed at the top. So sort of do half here, half here, half here, etc., etc., until you get an even torque across them both. So the next step is to do the same thing on the driver's side with the driver's side step. The upside is it's much, much easier because you've got heaps more room because there's no fuel tank. So next step is to get stuck in, get that side done, and then we can check them out. We can check out what they both look like fully installed. And there we go, fully installed the TJM steps. I'm pretty stoked with these. You can see that we still have solid steppage going on here, scoops in nicely between the flares and tires. So I really like the look of that. I really wanted to make sure we still had a decent step that, you know, if I needed to, I could sort of get up onto the roof, no problem at all. Still plenty of step from the inside. If we open this up, there you go, you can kind of get a bit of an idea. You've still got somewhere to put the old size 10s. And same on the driver's side, they have come up an absolute treat. Loving the look of these, and I reckon they actually go quite nicely with the TJM rear bar as well. It's sort of got that continuity all the way through to, well, until we get something going on at the front there, that's for sure. So there you have it. That is the install of the TJM side steps, the scrub rails for the DMAX or the BT50. I hope you enjoyed that one and found it helpful. Let me know if these are the type of scrub rails you're looking at getting, or if you've got another set, let me know in the comments below. Interested to hear what other people are running. Huge thank you very much to the Patreons of Video Show Me How. Your extra support goes a long way to bringing out content just like this, and I'm truly grateful. If you are interested in supporting future content, head on over to Patreon, check out the different levels. There's a whole range of different tiers and merch and that sort of thing. So if you're interested, head on over and check it out. Now, would you believe this is actually video 24 of the DMAX build? Crazy. There's been lots of stuff that we've done to the truck. It's coming along nicely. It's coming along nicely, but there are a bunch of extra mods coming. We've got some chunky ones on the way. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, of course. But other than that, guys, as always, I hope that you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.